I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around as I move along. For example, I just finished reading in the book of 2 Samuel. I read the first 5 chapters. And these chapters were basically had a brief, it's about 7 years of hostilities, kind of a civil war between David and Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, as the two tried to maintain separate kingdoms. This ended with the assassination of Mephibosheth and David executing the assassins. Then all Israel made David king. He conquered Jerusalem, and then he drove out the Philistines. That's where we ended. Now we are switching to Chronicles, the first book of Chronicles. This will be chapter 11. David anointed king in Hebron. He takes Zion, the city of David, his valiant warriors named and their deeds recounted. So you'll see that the first half of this chapter is the same basic narrative as chapter 5 of 2 Samuel. There are a few extra details here. You'll recall that in taking Jerusalem, in 2 Samuel, he did say that whoever took the city would be his chief captain. Now, it doesn't say who took it, though. It just said he makes that vow, and then it says, and then David conquered the city. So, let us read this now. Chapter 11 here in 1 Chronicles, I'm going to split into 2 videos. The first being the story of the conquest of the city of Jerusalem. The second being recounting, as it says, his valiant warriors and their deeds. I'm going to make those 2 separate videos. So let us read this, verse 1. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David unto Hebron, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh, and moreover, in time past, even when Saul was king, thou wast he that leddest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord thy God said unto thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be ruler over my people Israel. Therefore came all the elders of Israel to the king, to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. Now, if you compare this to 2 Samuel 5, this is almost word for word. Again, it appears that the author of Chronicles and the author of Samuel were using the same source material and quoting the same source material. Anyways, continuing on, verse 4. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus, where the Jebusites were, the inhabitants of the land. And the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, Thou shalt not come hither. Nevertheless, David took the castle of Zion, which is the city of David. And David said, Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain. So Joab, the son of Zeruiah, went first up and was chief, and David dwelt in the castle. Therefore they called it the city of David. And he built the city round about, even from Millo round about, and Joab repaired the rest of the city. So here we have it. David makes his promise. First one up there to destroy the Jebusites gets to be captain. Joab makes sure he's first up. He becomes captain. Now, you'll also recall Joab murdered Abner, and David chastised him for it. And there is the possibility, anyways, some people conjecture that the reason Joab was so fired up to get this is because he knew he was out of favor with David, and since David made this vow, he could get his position back. He could become the chief captain regardless of David's personal feelings, because David made the vow. It's an interesting thought. Don't know if it's true, but it is an interesting thought. I will also, again, Jerusalem is called the city of David. Why? Because it was the capital established by David. It's where David lived. Remember that Jerusalem, most likely anyways, is the same city that Melchizedek was king of during the time of Abraham. He was the king of Salem. And Jerusalem is basically Salem of the Jebusites. So it says here that it was called Jebus, but that's just the first half of Jerusalem. So this is all tying together. This is the city that Melchizedek was king of, and remember, Melchizedek and all his people were translated and taken up to join the city of Enoch. So this city, likely, I believe it's the same city, it already has a very sacred connotation to it because it is the city of Melchizedek. But let us continue. Verse 9. So David waxed greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. And that basically covers his conquest of the Philistines, I think. Now, the rest of the chapter is a catalog of the mighty men. But, I mean, that's only 9 verses. We got to read a little bit more. So let's read the first part of his mighty men right here. Actually, never mind. We're going to leave it there, like I said, and we will come back to the catalog of his mighty men in the next video.